Presidential hopefuls are teaming up with former Georgia gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams.
They're trying to make sure every vote counts in the 2020 election. A voter suppression rally was held in Atlanta today. News 3's Georgia Capitol reporter Archit Seshadri spent the day at Ebenezer Baptist Church.
Volunteers with Fair Fight Action, an organization started by Georgia Democrat Stacey Abrams, pushes for fair elections and teaching voters about their rights.
I called roughly maybe 100 calls, and most of them weren't home, but my very last call was a guy in Americus, Georgia. He's lived at the same location for 30 years. He voted in 2018 for Stacey Abrams, and his name is on the Purged list.
Democratic presidential candidate Andrew Yang spent time meeting voters and making calls.
You know, we have to make sure every American has the right to vote. And if you've let your record lapse and they're trying to purge you off the rolls, we need to give you a heads up and say, hey, got to make sure information is properly filed and that you don't show up to the voting booth and get turned away. That's a miserable experience. So we're giving everyone a heads up.
We're here to get the voters back.
Former Columbus Mayor Teresa Tomlinson, who's now running for the U.S. Senate seat in Georgia, says every vote counts.
It's critically important because, look, we're going to have 500,000 new voters on the roll, but not if they take hundreds of thousands of voters off the rolls. And the only crime these people have committed is that they exercised their First Amendment right to withhold their vote in the last 2 election cycles.
Organizers say around 300,000 people are on that voter purge list, and about 1/3 of them, or around 100,000, fall under the use it or lose it category. That means they haven't cast a ballot since 2013 and that they could lose their eligibility to vote, so organizers are making calls, pushing voters to register.
It's off to Stacey Abrams for helping lead the activation of voters and protecting people's voting rights.
The DNC says 300,000 people moved to Georgia in the last 10 months, and nearly half of them were people of color and those under the age of 30.
There's suppression efforts against those very people. Anything we do to make it very, very difficult to vote can marginalize particularly younger voters, people who perhaps work shifts, so it's not, they're not available from 8 to 4.
Politicians and volunteers pushing people in the Peach State to get out and vote. Reporting in Atlanta, Archit Seshadri,